Secret Service Sam, the podcast, and Secret Service Sam, the podcast. It's not so secret because you're here. Yeah. Guys, what's up? Secret Service Sam here. I am live with the Queen, the one and only. Let me see, make sure,
Queen Ahmadiyya Shakur.
Queen Ahmadiyya Shakur and Cookie, the court dog, is here, guys. Cookie, where are you? Get out of there, Cookie. She's chewing on some God knows what. Come on, guys. Everybody loves puppies. Let's get that YouTube algorithm. Puppies, yay. All right, so Queen, let's just do a quick little recap. You and I were in line this morning at what time? About
3:30.
About 3:30 a.m. Everything was fairly civil. It was raining, by the way, and raining and hot.
At the same time.
So it was such a hard thing because it was almost like 90 degrees. Humidity was through the roof. And it was raining. So we were sitting there in the rain. The Lord wanted us to really work for this Diddy verdict today, right? So Queen, just tell everybody, a little bit about yourself, and tell a little bit about what happened this morning we were talking about.
Okay, so my name is Queen Ahmadiyya Shakur, and so we were minding our own business, as me and Sam always do, because we don't get in other people's business or gossip.
Right.
And so as we're doing so, John, the same person who attacked us weeks ago,
right,
we had to file a police report on him,
because he
slammed him to the ground and all of that. Well, he comes over and starts harassing us. Now, we're across the street under the news tent, because it's raining so hard. Mm-hmm. We leave there to get away from him and come across the street. He follows us and starts harassing us even further, making threats and calling us nasty names. He called me ghetto, because I'm black.
Right.
And then he's calling Sam dumb and saying he's going to sue Sam for defamation.
Right.
Things that he actually said.
Right. And that was the best irony of it today, is he's like, you're defaming me, I'm suing you for $100 million. Oh, thank you so much. And the best part is, I go, John, turn the camera on your customer, who he literally stole $300 from this woman, claimed he had the first spot in line, which he didn't because he's been banned from the courtroom. And
he had no spot whatsoever.
He had no spot, and so he sold that for $300 to this poor woman, Maria. It was I don't know what publication she was from, but it's just like, literally, he's saying I'm defaming him as he's defaming himself by ripping off one of his customers, and then he just took off into the sunset on his rollerblades. And then Ron, the time traveler, comes out and he's like, hey, well, your dog, what about your dog? You can't get in. And then the police officer comes out and he's like, no, he has a service dog. Leave the damn dog alone. And then Ron's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so, hey, the time traveler hopped back in his DeLorean, went wherever the hell he goes every day.
Now, here's the thing.
Are you guys
what John didn't realize is that while me and Sam were standing there arguing with him, and, we were really distracting him because I'd already told my friend to call the cops. Because yesterday we had to call the cops 3 times, and every time they came, he'd already whisked away on his rollerblades.
Right, those dang rollerblades.
This time, me and Sam had the wherewithal to keep him occupied as we recorded him for our TikToks and YouTubes, and then we had someone sneak and call the cops. So he was right there when the police pulled up.
Gotcha. Man, we were so slick. High fives on that. We were so slick. We kept him going. John doesn't realize we were filmed the whole interaction. I let him have it because, guys, it's been 6 weeks of dealing with it. From the very first time I met him, he told me to choke and die on my breakfast sandwich.
I'll tell you what he called this guy yesterday.
Please.
A guy who's my complexion.
Well, Kay, the line sitter, who everybody knows, my main man, my line sitter. Tell him what John called him.
The guy who tries to keep everything in order, keeps any chaos from just erupting or whatever. Yep. John called him a big lip black monkey and a ninja with the ER. With
the N word. Yeah.
That guy was so mad he wanted to take his head off, but he told Sam, he's like, I got to get out of here before I hurt somebody.
Yeah, I know. Thankfully, Kay did, because that's the thing. You have all these agitators, and like they say, these guys trying to get clout off of like the real influencers here who are actually doing the work and putting in the work and paying for this. So it's so crazy. So now we don't know what's going to happen. We're hoping this is the last day. Queen, give everybody your thoughts, because you're so smart. You're like a college professor. Emily knows everything.
Emily knows everything.
She's here.
Sam's mad at me. He's pretending
I'm not mad at you. Seriously. Why do you think I'm mad at you?
Because you didn't reply to my text.
What text? I told you, though, my wife wanted to talk to me. I passed out last night at about 7 o'clock, and I woke up at 1. 7. Yeah, I was out cold. No, Emily, I have no problem. I love you.
He was mad at me because I am playing both sides because I'm friends with John.
No, I don't mind that because I know you're smart, and I'm not worried about that.
when I paid him last week, he did have a spot for me. But last night at 1 a.m., he texted me, "Do you need a spot?" I go, "I'm sleeping."
Hilarious.
And then, thank God I didn't come, or I would have.
Yeah, no, John has gotten spots. We're just here to tell the truth,
No, but
you know?
he didn't get one today, so thank God.
No, today he didn't, but that's the problem. That's why, Kay, you need a reliable line sitter.
He pulled his dick out.
Yeah, I heard.
I saw his penis.
I didn't know that, but I didn't know that. You
his
saw
line
it?
sitter, John has a photo. I saw his.
No,
Wow.
he said he was using the bathroom when John did that.
Yeah, he was going to the
really? So he has a
bathroom.
different
And
story.
witnesses said
Well,
that.
that's
He
no.
said he
No,
pulled it
witnesses
out.
said that's what I had heard.
He said he pulled it out and
Also,
threatened to-
I had heard that he was going to the bathroom and then he came over and
John
started
came over and
filming
took a
him.
picture of him, is what
So
people
who
said.
knows, guys? This is the
was
type of
out
drama.
on the sidewalk, and the dick was out.
You saw a picture?
Oh, wow.
Yes,
no.
John showed me. He's like,
All right,
I
watch
have
the
evidence.
D. And was he stacking heat? Was he packing heat?
It was the tip.
Okay, just a tip here, guys. Like a Mormon, we only had the tip. Thanks, Emily, for all that late breaking news. Emily knows mostly everything. Emily,
That's
she
why I'm
does.
playing both sides.
You're not playing both sides. No, you're not playing both
'cause
sides.
I like
Look,
both of you, but
no, but look,
I like
look.
crazy
Well, here's
people.
what I hope. I hope you do like both of us, and you can like
I
crazy.
did.
But I just hope
I
you
mediated.
recognize that one of us is really not crazy, and the
I
other.
don't think
That's
you're
all I hope.
crazy.
No, I know. That's all I
But
want.
John told me he doesn't mean the lawsuit. He said it's
Oh, I know.
trolling.
It's trolling.
Yeah, we know it was
You think
trolling
he's-
when he
you
said.
Oh, now, John, the $100 million lawsuit has
You
gone to
think
just
100
trolling.
million isn't trolling?
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying.
That's like more than Cassie.
But he's serious, but it's just hilarious. Because once I told him, I was like, oh, well, I've already spoken to my lawyers, and they're not too worried
Oh,
about
what'd
it.
they say?
They're just like, it's not defaming.
John says that he's suing somebody.
He does.
Also, Ron told me he's suing somebody.
No, look, I always say about crazy, it's like throwing a ball against the wall and expecting that ball not to come back to you. So, Queen, let's get into what you're saying. Give us the theories, and then we'll get out of this live.
Okay, yeah, because I'm gonna go back inside.
Yeah, because you're smart and you understand this, so please explain it in the better way that I cannot.
Well, as a college professor, I know a lot about criminal justice and the law. And what I do know is that Judge Subramanian went back on his own words. Now, he gave the jury specific instructions the other day and told them to go by his instructions alone. And with those instructions, he absolutely told them what distribution is and gave them the 3 elements of distribution. With that being said, when the jurors had a question about distribution, all he had to do was refer them to his own words. But rather than do so, he took it upon himself to go along with Maureen Comey, the lead prosecutor, who wants it to seem as though distribution, you don't have to make a sale, but even if you're at a freak-off and everybody's doing illegal substances,
Right.
and you brought them, that's distribution.
And let's
Let me
just
tell
real
you-
quick talk about that. How many of us have been to a party where you maybe brought the substances or the alcohol or whatever the party was, and you're not a
But
distributor.
here's the
Distributor.
thing. Let's pay attention because Judge Aaron Subramanian
Subramanian,
said that
I have
at the
learned.
end of the day, there was a case, Wallace versus U.S. versus Wallace from 2008, Second
Right.
Circuit, where there was a question about do you have to make a sale for it to be distribution?
Mm.
Well, you don't have to make a sale.
Mm-hmm.
So, but here's the tricky part. Jason Driscoll, the young man, 32 years old, who looks much younger than he is.
26.
He's very good at litigation, and that's what he specializes in. He stood up and said, but Your Honor, he said, the defendant, or he said sole possession lies with the defendant. And what does that mean? Well, that basically means that, say for example, if I come to Sam's house with illegal substances and me and Sam and his wife or whoever else is there, that's
We're gonna
adults,
party. We're gonna
we wanna
freak off.
party and do
Yeah.
these illegal substances, like if we're passing a blunt or whatever.
Right.
When I leave, I didn't sell it to them. We all just did it. We didn't have to make a sale, right?
Right.
But it's still not distribution if when I leave, I'm still in possession of it. Or if while I'm there, I'm still in possession of it. If I'm passing a blunt to Sam and he passes it to his wife, and then she passes it back to me, it's still my blunt.
Puff, puff, pass.
So I didn't distribute anything. I shared with them. And it's still in my possession. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why what the judge is saying makes no sense. And it seems like he's giving the prosecution a lot of allowances that he, unfortunately for Diddy, is not giving the prosecution. I mean, the
Interesting.
defense. Now, but with that all being said, I have never liked Diddy. I'm not going to sit here and say that I like Diddy.
Right.
But what I also don't like is when justice isn't distributed fairly and equally. And that's what I have a problem with.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Queen, for that, because you have the brain that most of us don't, and the retention, like, guys, I can't remember all that stuff, and she gave it to you perfectly how it happened, so that's why I wanted to have Queen do it, because it's so important, like, to not only amplify your own voice, but smarter voices than yourself so we can really get the full picture out. And that was exactly it. Like I said, Jason Driscoll, he throws a stick in the spokes of justice and everybody flies over the handlebars. He's so smart. And like every time he speaks, the judge like, okay. I mean, crazy.
And let me say one more thing before I go about Mr. Driscoll. The judge got so mad with him, it was obvious because he was talking in a very stern voice.
Yes.
When the judge said, you know, he says, is there another element that the jurors had a question about? And if there is, then let me know.
Yep, he
Driscoll
was.
stood up and said, yes, there is, Your Honor. Actually, it's page 38, 3 and 7.
Yeah, like, no,
Lines 3
part
and
1
7.
and 3, or yeah, lines 3 and
lines
7,
3
whatever
and
it was,
7.
yeah.
He says because before he can even get what he's going to say out, Maureen Comey interrupts and says, oh no, he's purposely trying to mislead the jurors. Okay, and so the judge, after Driscoll makes his point, the judge says, well, that specifically doesn't count because that's about possession with intent to distribute.
Yeah.
So he just didn't want to go, you know, he really is giving them a lot of allowance.
He's giving a lot of allowance. That's
and
what people feel.
whether you like Diddy or not, you should want justice to be distributed equally and fairly because everyone has the right to a fair trial.
Amen.
At the end of the day, all these other things that people say Diddy has done, he's not on trial for that. And if they really wanted him to be found guilty, they should have charged him with domestic violence. Because he is guilty of that.
Yep. Guys, thank you so much, Queen. That was a mic drop she just did right there, Patriots. Thank you again for joining me, you guys, on my live. I'm going to get back in the court building. Hope you guys are loving my coverage. If you are, subscribe to my YouTube. I'm really trying to bring over the whole following to there. And also subscribe to my subscriptions on TikTok. Love you guys. I will come back live later with you guys. Secret Service Sam out. Samson for president of TikTok. Secret Service Sam, the podcast is Secret